In Mississippi, our time moves no faster or slower than it does anywhere else. Our children are born and grow up at about the same rate as the rest of the world. And when we visit our forebears, we realize life is a gift and doesn't last forever. But whereas a lot of people let it go at that, here in Mississippi, we do something about it. We have devised ways to make the most of what we have while we still have it. Life is for living, not always planning to live someday. We like remembering the good old days in the small towns like Madison, Mississippi.
The railroad coming through made it a town, for one thing. And then it's had that flavor of small town for a long time because we had Ridgeland, we had Jackson. And so it was really more than a suburb of that. It was far away. Madison, for me, was like being at home because I knew everybody and everybody knew me. It was kind of like Cheers. You felt a kinship with everybody, even though you were not really kin, you know.
But in Mississippi, like elsewhere, we are also aware that the good old days fade into good old memories, and the memories evolve into yearnings as we grow older, desires. Desires that things could go back and be as they used to be. But no more than you can put a brick on your children's heads to keep them from growing up, you can't lasso the calendar and stop time from relentlessly moving on. Things change. But in Madison, Mississippi, we also discovered that inevitable change doesn't have to lead to haphazard change. We discovered, just like we raise our children, by plan and design, we can grow a town just that way, to be what we want it to be. A city where even the cell phone towers add to the charm. Madison is Mississippi too, just not the Mississippi you may imagine. But let me quickly add that Madison is America too, just not the America that you read about in the headlines or see in the evening news. That kind of keeps Madison out of the spotlight. But that doesn't mean people aren't finding out about Madison, Mississippi all the time. Take Linda and David Hackett. They discovered Madison after living in the Boston area most of their lives.
We lived in Boston, north of Boston, on the North Shore for 50 years. And then what happened was a friend of ours in New Hampshire was always talking about Mississippi and extolling the virtues of living in Mississippi, all the fine people, how laid back they were. And she said, oh, and you have to check out Madison. Everybody loves Madison. We made a mental note of it, and we came here, came twice, and on the third time we said, that's it, we're going to buy here.
But I was so pleased. I mean, it's just so beautiful. The minute we came into Madison, I just said, David, I just love this place. It's just, everything is so perfect. You know, this is where I want to be. It just grabbed me.
However, David realized you must give up some things to move from a large metropolitan area to a charming southern town.
Yes. The oily film on the railing outside our front door, okay? Especially in the wintertime, because there's just so darn many cars. So you don't have that kind of gridlock all the time, the snail trails in every direction. It's a breath of fresh air.
Well, I was surprised when we first came down. It was totally different than what I expected.
Different from Boston, Atlanta, even Mississippi's capital city, Jackson, just a few minutes down the road. But those few minutes make a world of difference because Madison grew by deliberate plan, a plan to protect our most valuable asset, the people who live here, and invest in property here, and invest the days of their lives here.
And it changed with a lot of care, but then all of the developments that have been happening around here have been done thoughtfully and well done. It feels like a home that you dream would someday happen.
Now, it's not Mayberry. There is no Mayberry. But there is a Madison, Mississippi, on purpose this way.
I only wish that we would have come down sooner in our life.
And we did not dislike where we lived at all.
No, people who've made their homes in Madison didn't come here because they hated where they were. They came here because they just liked Madison better.
So that's why we're here, and we'll be here forever.